What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And this week on The Great Debaters, Benny the Butcher. Alright, Amir, so we're back here on The Great Debaters. As always, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to you guys as often as possible with as many interviews and great debaters as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one, and check our podcast out wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, Amir, it's time for some Griselda. Of course, they've got a lot of great momentum and movement that they've created the last several years. And as we both listened to their material, I was like, man, we haven't done a Griselda. Let's do Benny the Butcher, The Plugs I Met, 2019. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the more recent things that we've done, and we both happen to really like this project. Mm-hmm. So, in the grand scheme of things, Benny the Butcher, The Plugs I Met, what was the genesis of your introduction to this one?
Yeah, I'd been listening to them for a few years up to this point when it dropped, so when it came out, I was like, alright, let's listen to this one. And they have, they as in Conway, Benny, Westside Gun, they have so much material, a lot of short projects, some long projects, and this one I pretty much listened to immediately after its release, and I was definitely impressed by it. And it is very short, but it does pack a punch, that's for sure. So my first song is actually going to be Sunday School. And Sunday School, first off, that beat is so great by the Derringer.
Oh my God.
Derringer just knocked this one out of the park. And then seeing the track list was interesting because I was like, okay, well, 38 Spesh and Benny had worked together before. They had like their project Stabbed and Shot. 38 Spesh is also making music too. And then Jadakiss, who, everyone's known him, he's been making music for a long time now. So to see that lineup was interesting. I was just wondering how it was just going to work out, what they were going to rap about. The song title is Sunday School, so that's weird. We got a very long Benny the Butcher verse.
You wouldn't think of these guys taking you to Sunday school?
So Benny has like a long verse. The chorus is also pretty long too. But, Benny, he does such a great job of talking about drugs, having punchlines in his raps. He's a very, very good rapper. He just knows how to put his words together, knows how to flow, knows his execution is always on point. His punchlines are great. All the stuff he talks about, bricks and the drugs he sold and all that, like, I understand some of it, but when they start talking about the numbers and like all this equates to this, and I get a little confused, so then I kind of tune into the flow because I didn't do all that stuff. But anyways, I want to talk about the 38 Spesh verse because 38 Spesh on this, I think he clearly has the best verse on the song, and that's not to say that the others are weak. It's just his is so great. He got an A+, Benny got an A, and Jadakiss got a little less than that, but that verse is so great. When he talks about the lamb and the stick like he's fresh out the Bible, I was just, wow. He brings his own stick like he's coming to play pool. He's mailing albino. Dude, the stuff that he was saying on this song, the punchlines were crazy. Plus his voice on this beat, it was just like an interesting contrast, but it worked so well. I want to know what you think, if that's one of your picks. But I think Sunday School was so great. And then also what was very interesting to me is the name Sunday School is so random, right? Because what are they talking about? Benny doesn't mention Sunday School. It's not in the chorus. But then 38 Spesh has a lyric that says, y'all don't really want to go there like Sunday School. So I'm like, maybe they named the song after they heard that bar. And then you hear Jadakiss mention Sunday in one of his rhymes, but he doesn't say school. So I'm like, why did they name it that? So these things kind of come in my head, and I'm trying to think. And this is a pretty long song. Like, it's over 5 minutes. It's so great. 38 Spesh in particular massacred this beat, and I have to pick that as one of my picks.
Sunday School is also one of my picks. It's phenomenal, and one of the main reasons that I was so drawn to this project, because this song to me is amazing. Pianos, as I've mentioned, when done well with rap, I think is just an amazing juxtaposition of what's theoretically typically associated with some sort of elegance and then you have the rawness and the rambunctiousness of what Sunday School is. It's just a magical oral concoction, in my opinion, man. It's amazing. And the progressions that they have sonically, Derringer does a great job on that. And then, yes, 38 Special, I think is, oh my goodness. And I think, building on what Amir was saying, like his flow and his style and how he over-exaggerates words, like we've heard Akinelli and Project Pat and Jay-Z and other people do. When he does that, and that's in the middle toward the end of his verse, like when people start doing that stuff, that just lets me know they're having fun, but they're also like playing with the competition. Like, oh, you think the verse is cool, and wait till I add in this wrinkle. And when he does that, to me, it just takes the song to a whole other dimension, which I love. And Benny starts the song off so strongly, but 38, man, when he comes in, it's crazy. Shout out to Jadakiss for his Maryland reference. You gotta appreciate that as always. But I really do think it's 38 Special. It's his crowning moment on this project, because the vocabulary, the style, the delivery, the cadence, everything about what he does on this song, to me, is remarkable. And it just is one of those standouts where it's like, man, I wish he was on this project more, because whatever vibe he and Benny in particular were on when they were making this song, and obviously adding Jadakiss to that mix, but if whatever vibe they were on and whatever was going on, I wish we could have had a little bit more of an extended marriage on that. So that's my first pick, and since it's a 7-song project, the EP for all intents and purposes, we're just going to do our top 2. So Amir, that's my top pick. What's your second pick?
Second pick. So this is actually probably my favorite song on the EP, and that would be 5 to 50. This and Sunday School were really battling for it. But I like this one because it's a Benny solo. There's quite a few features on this, even though it's a small project. And, it's got his girl India on here. So I find that to be very interesting. You got someone who's been with you longer, or for a long time, and you get to hear like the news references in there, mentioning the Black Soprano gang. So that's very, it's always cool to hear things like that. Then you hear India talking about some things. She told her, I think it was her dad, about Benny. He's like, oh, you better be careful. The guy from Montana, Montana Street. So it's very interesting to hear these things, hear them talk about their past coming up, Benny selling all these drugs, doing all these things, seeing what he saw, detailing it. And I think it's great because a lot of the times I don't hear with Benny or Conway or West Side Gun, I don't hear a lot of stories. A lot of the time I just hear punchlines, aggressive bars, drug music, etc. And a lot of it's great, but sometimes it can get a little redundant. But in this case, I actually get to hear a story. I actually get to hear someone who, from his past and his present, talk a little bit on it. It adds definitely a little more color, in my opinion, and that I thought was just awesome to hear India on this, and then to hear Benny rapping, and then to talk about the cops coming to the door and all this stuff, and then finally West Side they got a deal, and then now he's making legal money and all that. And I just thought it was great over a simple yet effective Alchemist beat. Really, really, really dope. 5 to 50 is just such a great, great, great song. Like I said, I love when I hear stories from these guys, as I know they can rap really well, so to hear them kind of broaden it a little bit is always a good thing. So this has to be like a top pick for me. It's my last pick off this 2 tracks for us.
5 to 50 is probably my third favorite, for a lot of the reasons that you described. I do like the getting a little bit of some of the history stuff, and when I was hearing this, I didn't know some of these details that she was describing. So I thought that was cool to get a little bit more first-hand account information. So that was cool. But I'm got to go with Crowns for Kings, because the thing that I always find interesting when we have artists like the Griselda umbrella family of people is, since they're not pushing stuff to get on the radio, or they're not pushing stuff to be all on the videos and all this other stuff, like maybe people that are more commercial or pop minded, when they just rap a lot of the times. Their songs are not, chorus, hook, all that, or chorus, verse type of thing all the time. So we have different ways to do things. And for Crowns for Kings, what I liked is that with Black Thought in particular, his verse is super long. And this is one of those things where we, people that love listening to rap and listening to rapping at its highest levels, we don't necessarily always need to get the what's labeled as 16 bars, the 16 lines. Like, if it's good, just keep going. Like, we hear that with Cool G Rap, we hear that with Big Daddy Kane, we hear that with some of the icons of the game, and when it's done well, it's just great. And I think this is another example that Black Thought also breaking up as we get with Sunday School with Jadakiss, kind of taking it outside of their normal wheelhouse of artists, I think brings an extra dimension. And then he's just working over that beat, which obviously is very different sonically from a lot of what the Roots have done over the years. I just really enjoyed it, and the extra horns they bring in the especially in the bridge, what would be the chorus, quote unquote. I just like that. Brings a lot of texture and warmth, and I think soul to that song. So for all those reasons, I'm a big fan of Crowns Kings. What did you think of that one, Amir?
This is a great one, and to hear Black Thought and Benny on the same song was very intriguing, and I enjoyed it a lot. My third pick, if I had to pick one just super quick, would be 18 Wheeler. I really like that track. It's short. Pusha T, Benny, they both rap out drugs. It was an interesting, collab to hear them both on it, and it's great songs.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things with the Plugs I Met. It's short, but it's very potent, and I think that's as music evolves and as we keep hearing new music from artists that are more on the newer side of things, like the Griselda artists, but then also when we see people like Nas releasing shorter projects now, it's so interesting to see how music's evolving, because when you go back to Illmatic, and this is something I talked with DJ Scratch about right up there, he liked Illmatic because it was short and it made you wanting more. And I think with the Plugs I Met is a good example of that. Illmatic is a good example of that. Magic is a good example of that by Nas, which we did a Great Debaters on as well. And, it's just interesting when you get thrown like things that are a little atypical of what's going on. So I like it a lot. That's my opinion. You guys got Amir's opinion. As always, hit us in the comments section. Let us know what you guys think on Benny the Butcher's The Plugs I Met. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
Great Debaters, y'all.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Your MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.